Use typo on this one. So if I wanted to go in, I'll use some texture paste.
I put it away. So good.
So tidy. All right, whoa.
Sorry.
All right, so here I'm going to go with my palette knife, pick up some paste, take my stencil, and I'm just going to start spreading that through. Now, when you work with the stencil paste, anytime you work with the stencil paste, whether it's Ranger's texture paste or other ones, you have to remember that you need to work it into the stencil, but you also need to remove it from the top of the stencil. Because if you spread it on like that and you lift it up, you're going to get these weird peaks and they're going to fall over. So you're not going to get the same detail. You don't need to really scrape it, just kind of use a palette knife. And a flexible palette knife, this is Dina's palette knife, is really nice for that because it's kind of springy. It doesn't catch your stencil, kind of bounces over the road. Excess can go right back in the jar. Then we can take our stencil, you're going to lift it off, and you can see that this really has nice thickness to it, and I'm going to let it dry. So at this point, this is where we would have embossing powder or anything like that.
Add that to that.
You would add it to that and let it dry.
Let it dry and then heat it?
Yes,
Okay.
because we don't want to heat wet paste because it tends to puff up.
Okay.
Right, and you kind of, and some people like that effect. You know, some people might say, "Oh, I want to put paste on it and make it really chunky." But this one, I want to set it aside. So I'm going to set that aside. My stencil, I'm just going to put in water and leave it. In a couple minutes, I'll dig it out, dry it off, and I'm done. I don't have to clean it. So let's talk about some stuff that's already been stencil pasted. So we can go in with our texture paste and show you how it takes color. This is one of my favorite things about working with this paste is that the paste, although it still has that great texture and flexibility, it is designed more importantly to take color. Okay, that's really the big thing. Most pastes out there, when you go and add color to them, it acts as a resist or it brings white to the surface. This one is designed to absorb ink. And I know other pastes can take color, whether you're using permanent ink or paint. This one is designed for any water-based ink. It could be dilutions, it could be distress, it could be any of those. And it really takes color nice. So I can go in with sprays if I want to use a spray stain, or I can go in with my regular stains. I can go with my ink pad if I want. Now, when I work with these, I get in the habit of always wiping off the nozzles. Anytime you have any spray ink, it's a good habit to get into because, believe it or not, you know, your inks that you have, they have a resin in them. So even though it's fluid and you think, oh, there's no particles in there. No, there aren't any particles, but there's a resin, and that resin can clog that tiny little pinhole of a sprayer. So just get in the habit of all you're doing is wiping that off, and that really will keep it from clogging up. So I'm going to go in and start drying this. Those are some good colors. And I wanted to choose just some different colors so you can see how that's going to work right in there. And I love when that ink starts to pull up around the paste, kind of outlines it a little bit. And while I'm drying that, I'm even going to go in with a little bit of water. I mean, after all, that's what distress is. But I want you to see what that water is going to do to the areas where the paste is specifically. It's going to create kind of a white area. See that? See where that water hit? That paste starts to become light. So if you ever want to lift color at any time, you can go over it with a damp cloth and you can lift it right off. So if you ever put too much ink on, you're like, oh, it's too dark. If you just blot it off with a damp cloth, a baby wipe even, it will lift some of that off. So I'm just going to go in, maybe just blot some of this off. So here's what I wanted to show you. What's really cool about this is that the paste takes the color. And it takes the color almost to the fact that if you were to use this and you did an all-over color, you really lose the pattern. You know, you use the whole idea because it becomes the color of your paper, which is good. For people like me, that's really good because now I'm going to go in and add color over the top of it to kind of hit those raised areas, whether you were going to use metallic or whether you're going to use distress. I'll use distress ink. But that's what I love to show about the feature of texture paste. It takes color like paper. So any inks that you do, any marbling or modeling that you're going to get, the paste is going to react the same way the paper will. And that's really cool that it's not just going to repel or resist it. So here I'm going to go in and take an ink, take my minis, use this one. So now when I demo at home, I still work with the big guys. You know, I'm this all the way because I'm an inker. I ink every single day. I work on, you know, cards and projects and journals, so I need a large ink pad. There's 5 times the amount of ink that's in here, but sometimes you just want to do ink on the go. So for demos and things like that, I do all of my inks in minis, which is great. one of the new things that Range is doing at this show is we've launched all of these minis as open stock. So in the past they've only been sold as a 4-pack of colors, which is great, but now you can get all the individual colors small. So it's great for stores that want to do classes, it's great for people that have favorites that really don't want to get into the colors, they don't like the choice of the colors that I made, or there's going to be times where you've used a color to death and you're like, oh, I need to pick raspberry, I can't re-ink it anymore, it's destroyed. There you go. But another cool thing obviously is that we announced these tins last year. And these are designed to store the minis. There's a channel in the bottom that even if your tin is not full, you can still move those around and you don't have to worry about those sliding anywhere. But more importantly, it's perfect for the mini blending tool. Now you've seen me demo in the past where I've got my little spinner and I've got all those. And at home, I still do. I like a tool dedicated to each color family because it makes me really quick and efficient. But when I'm traveling or when I'm demoing, this makes it really easy for me to set up. Minutes, right? Not getting out all of my stuff. And I think for a lot of mixed media and paper crafters, you can take an assortment of colors with you, and now you only need one tool because I just get the mini blending foam and you put it right in the bottom of each one. Okay? Because the foam is fit larger than the actual case, this is going to allow me to easily change these out. So here I'm just going to add a little bit of fired brick into that area. When I'm done, I normally cap this, peel this off, tuck it in the back, and move on. The foam already has it. The tool already has it. Now I'm just touching it and it's already going on there.
Sweet. Okay.
So
that's a sweet idea.
makes it really, really easy. So here you can see already that I've just totally changed that corner just by adding some red in there. So if I wanted to go in also, just take that, pick up walnut stain, just gonna pick that. Yeah, so this way it's one handle and you're just buying a pack of replacement foams and the foam just tucks right in. And you do it black side out so you can touch it, right? So when you're ready to go, you just pick it up and go. So that to me makes a really cool way that I can now use all of my colors. I don't need all the handles and all that, again, on the go. Now at home, I'm not gonna do that. I don't have time to be switching out. I just wanna grab the red tool, grab the blue tool. So that's what I was saying when people go, well gosh, you know, with these new colors, I should just be buying the minis instead of the big ones. Well, it depends. If you're an inker, you are not gonna really like this to always go in and re-ink that pad. But if you're traveling, it's great to have that, you know, or if you wanna dabble in a few colors because you're gonna use maybe this palette of 12 most of the time, but maybe occasionally you use mustard seed or pick raspberry, then those would be the minis to get, right? But let's face it, we're all collectors, and when you see it in a tin, it's so cute. Yeah. I know, you look at it, you're like, it's good, but I love them lined up like that, so I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, it's who we are, it's in our nature, yeah. All right, so this, again, I'm just gonna splash a little bit more water on there, just because I wanna show that, just like paper, this paste will always react. So you've seen me spray water over a manila tag, and it kind of lifts and reacts. It's gonna do the same thing over the paste. So texture paste really is, I don't know, it's one of those products that's just so unique because it takes on the same, kind of the whole same concept that paper does. It gives me those same properties, and I really like that.
Can you sign it in front of it?
Sure, I'll sign that. So this specific one is called Scribbles, and I really like it because when people look at it, they see roses.
Yeah.
I
Right?
was thinking, I saw
But when you see it as a background, it just
It's just
becomes
scribbles.
Scribbles.
Oh, I love it.
I like it. Yeah, because you can just do one and be like, ooh, look at that pretty rose that's lifted, but you can also do a background. So pretty fun.